Welcome to this Blender video tutorial. By the end of this video, hopefully you should be able to make your own first 3D game using Blender, which is free to download at home if you want to play around with it. So to get started, when you load Blender up from your desktop, you should be able to push your mouse wheel in, the scroll wheel between the two mouse buttons, and then move your mouse so you can look around like this, or you can scroll the mouse wheel to zoom in and out. So by the end of this video, you should be able to press the arrow keys and make this cube move around. And then I'll also share another video so that you can turn the cube into a snowman or turn the cube into a car or anything else that you want. So you can use the arrow keys to move whatever you like move around. Okay, so to get started, rather than using Blender Render, we're going to change it to Blender Game up at the top. And that just means that you can press P to test your game and then press Escape or ESC at the top left of your keyboard. So our game doesn't do much at the moment when you press P. You certainly can't use the arrow keys to move anything, but that's what we want to change. So if you click up at the top next to where it says Default, we're going to change it into Game Logic. This is where we can put in the scripts that control how our cube moves. So down here, these are our inputs and these are our outputs. So we want to add some things that sense for when you press the keys. So I'm going to press Shift and A, and it'll only work when your mouse is over this part of the screen. Shift and A, I want to add a sensor for the keyboard. So this then checks to see if you press a key on the keyboard. I'm going to click on the thing next to key and press the up arrow. So this now tells Blender to listen out for when I press the up arrow. And then I'm going to press Shift and A over here. Rather than adding another sensor this time, I'm going to add an actuator, which is like an output. So I'm going to go for a motion actuator. And up here you can see three arrows, a red one, a green one and a blue one. These are the three dimensions, the three axes in 3D space. So if I press up, I want it to move forwards, and I'm going to say forwards is going to be in the red direction, which is the X direction. So that's this first number here. This is the location and this is the rotation. So I'm just going to click once on the right to make sure that it's just a little bit bigger than 0. Last thing then, before we test it, I'm going to click and drag to join up these boxes. You get something in the middle which you don't need to worry about. But this now means if you press the up arrow on your keyboard, it should move forwards. So we'll test it. Hover your mouse over the 3D part and press P to play. And if you press up, your cube should now move forwards. Not the world's most exciting game, but it's a start. So I'm going to hide these just by clicking on the little arrow and do the same for when I press down on the keyboard. So that's Shift and A, add a sensor, a keyboard sensor, Shift and A, add an actuator and a motion actuator. Connect them up. And then the key we want to sense this time is the down arrow, and we want to move in the opposite direction. So this is going to be a minus number in location. So press P, it should move forwards and it should move backwards. So that's great. You can imagine we've got a car that can kind of drive. I'm pressing escape to cancel that. All we need now is to be able to steer. So Shift and A, I'm going to add two keyboard sensors at once. So Shift and A keyboard, Shift and A keyboard. And I'm going to add two actuators at once, still motion actuators. So Shift and A, add actuator and then motion. Connect them up. So the top one's going to be when we press the left arrow and the bottom one's going to be when we press the right arrow. So this one's going to be left arrow, this one's going to be right arrow. To scroll, again you can use your mouse wheel to zoom in and out, or you can push your mouse wheel in to kind of pan up and down. Okay, so to actually rotate, we want to spin around this blue axis here, like this. So that's rotating around the blue axis, and the blue axis is the Z one. So if we press left, that's this one, I want it to rotate around the Z axis, and I'm going to guess, I don't know whether it should be a positive number or a negative number. So I'm going to guess this way around. If I guess wrong, it's not the end of the world, we'll just swap them. So let's move your mouse over the 3D part and press P. If I press left, it goes one way. If I press right, it goes the other. And yeah, it kind of drives in the right direction for me. I think it steers too fast, so I'm going to turn these down a little bit. Let's go for 2 degrees. And that's it. So we've got our own like little 3D cube, a little game where something moves around. In the next video, you'll see how to turn the cube into a little car or turn the cube into a snowman or something like that. And then if I get time, I'll put another video on to add gravity and make it a little bit more realistic. But thanks for watching. Work your way through. Watch it as many times as you need until you've got your own little 3D game. Thanks very much.